everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. Today, we will be talking about the patient caregiver experience measures that are part of the Centris Health MSSP ACO. My name is Cindy Campbell. I am the Director of Clinical Strategies and Quality for KCMPA. On this slide, I show a list of the practices and the clinics that make up the MSSP ACO for Centris Health. And along with that, it shows the number of attributed lives for each clinic. The quality measures for the MSSP ACO are made up of 31 quality measures across 4 domains. The 4 domains are the patient caregiver experience, care coordination or patient safety, preventive health, and at-risk populations. So for today's webinar, we will be talking about the patient caregiver experience and the measures that make up that domain. And on this slide, it just shows the scoring for each of the domains and how many measures make up the domain and how many possible points for each one. So if you look at the very top row, for the patient caregiver experience domain, there's 8 measures with 16 possible points, and so it makes up 25% of the domain, as each of the domains makes up 25% of the weight. So how and when do we measure the patient caregiver experience? So it's done via the Consumer Assessment of Healthcare Providers and Systems Survey, or simply the CAP survey. The CAP survey is made up of 11 pages with 58 questions. The questions consist of the core questions, which are specific to that patient's clinician and to the group, plus additional questions that measure access to and the use of specialty care, their experience with care coordination, patient involvement in decision making, experiences with a healthcare team, health promotion and patient education, and patient functional status and the patient's general health. The survey is done on an annual basis, and it's done by an outside vendor that the ACO chooses. Once the vendor has been chosen, the ACO does not have any more involvement with the process in order to ensure that we have no influence on the results of the CAP scores. It's done using a mixed mode data collection that includes 2 survey mailings and then follow-up phone calls to beneficiaries that did not respond to the mailed questionnaires. And it's not sent to every beneficiary in the ACO. However, it's sent to a sample of the beneficiaries. This chart here shows a kind of a timeline of what tasks will be done for the CAP survey, and then the dates, the date ranges of each task. So as you can see on the very first line here, a pre-notification letter will get sent out to that selected sample of beneficiaries a week before the first mailing gets sent out. It has a timeline that will start mid-October, and then at the end of October, the first surveys will start to be sent out. And along with that, you can see as it goes down here, each of the tasks and the timelines that occurs, with the last day for the follow-up phone interviews for those that did not return a mailed out CAPS survey will be January or January 16th, and that's also the cutoff date for any of the returned mail surveys. So it actually starts at the end of October and it goes until mid-January. So one of the questions that I have received is, what is the return rate? Um, with a survey that is 11 pages, it seems like that's a lot of questions, and that we wouldn't have a high return rate. However, in our past experience, it's been over a 50% return rate. So once again, we have some really good history from past performance. And so we expect that there will be good return rate on these surveys as well. I also have a sample copy of the CAP survey if anybody would like to have one just for your own knowledge. And I also encourage you to please share this information with your care teams, with your providers, in order that they understand what will happen for each of the CAP surveys and what types of questions that will be specific to their practice and to them as well. And of course, if anybody has any questions,